Hello and welcome back. Today is part 3 of the 4 parts of the foam armor set. As you can tell today, we're going to be doing the helmet. This one is quite a bit more challenging than the previous video ones. Give you a little side view there. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe down below. Hit that bell notification so you're aware of when I post new videos. And let's get into this one. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge, so let's go check it out. Okay, so let's get into making the helmet. Now, as I told you in a previous video, you need to make a template. So we need to transfer this into a paper pattern to make the helmet. So in order to do that, let's just move the helmet out of the way. We need a model. And here's our gorgeous model here. Now, this head is smaller than my head, so you need to build it up so it equals your head size. And what we're going to do is cover it then in tin foil. So let's do that part first. Get a piece of tin foil. And really work it in to all the face details. Now, I'm not doing this as pretty as I probably should be, but you want to shape this and get as much detail out of the headpiece underneath. Now, we're going to make a flat template from this. Now the tin foil's too fragile on its own, so we need to reinforce it with duct tape. What you do is now figure out where the front, yes, that rolls pretty well done. And you want to try and keep your duct tape as flat as possible. So as you're doing this, you just flatten it down. And you're going to build up layers of tinfoil tape. So you can see kind of how I was doing it. I usually give about 2. You can get away with 1 layer, but I found 2 is a little better. And just make sure that everything is shaped and nice. Now, what you need to do is we need to take this 3D model and turn it into a flat template. In order to do that, what we're going to need to do is have our Sharpie here and figure out our center point. So I'm just putting a center point there down the bridge of the nose. Now, depending on how you want the front of the helmet, I just wanted this one straight across, but if you wanted it to V down or a tab down, now's the time that you need to determine that and mark it accordingly. But for a straight one, you're just coming straight across. Now I'm just doing this rough, I'm not even quite looking at it, but you can see the idea. You're marking the center line and you're marking the brow line across to where the helmet's going to go. The center line you want to carry on right, and I would actually do this with a ruler so it's all nice and straight. And I would carry the center line all the way down right down to the back of the helmet. Now, we need to figure out where we're going to come in here to make this as two pieces on this side. So coming along from here, I contour where the face is, and I come down to the bottom of the jaw and carry that all the way along. Now this would all be duct taped as well. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So what we need to do now is figure out where we're going to come with the other piece. So following the contour of this head, I would come in at about here, and I would carry this line all the way down. So you can see I've got a line here, and a line here, and a line here. This piece is going to be this piece. This piece will be this piece. Now, we've got it all marked out. If you're on a foam head like I am, you can simply cut it, or you can just trim out the face piece, carefully lift this off, and then use scissors to cut it. But what you would simply do is you would take an X-Acto knife and you would cut this out. Now, critical step is, once you've separated these, you don't quite know how they line back up. So what you need to do about every 2 to 2.5 inches is you need to put the line. And you need to do it across the top as well. Now I'm only doing one side, but in reality you would have 2 sides done. So you can see how I put those little hashtag lines. That way when this is cut apart, I know how these pieces are going to go back together because they're going to line up. Without them, you're going to be in a world of hurt because your foam will not line up. And even with those lines, it gets a little tricky. Hashtags marked. Cut this out and cut it off, and cut this piece off. What you're going to end up with is, in this small piece, is a piece of tinfoiled and duct taped piece of material that won't quite lay flat. But it's just tinfoil and duct tape, so you just keep rubbing it to flatten it out. And then set that piece aside. Now this piece, when you take it off, you can see how it's got a bit of bulge and round to it. It will not lay flat. It's going to have that little bubble in the middle. So what you need to do, if this is a piece here, and it's bubbled like that, take your X-Acto knife, come in the center, and simply make a cut. You don't have to cut a wedge, you just simply make a cut, then flatten this out. It will create the natural gap on its own. And then you've got your, now these two transferred flat onto a table. Let me just get her out of the way. What you then do is take those pieces of tinfoil and duct tape, lay it down on paper, and transfer it onto paper. Make sure you mark your hashtags along. Also on the paper when you're doing it, you can see how I have F for the front, B for the back, and this is the right side, this is the left side. So you want to use one piece like this, not both pieces. If you want it very symmetrical, you take one piece and it'll be this side and it will be the other side. So it's 2 parts of the helmet. This side, flip it. So flip to there, flip to there. It'll be identical. And all you're doing is matching these hashtags up to each other at the top for your seam. Same with this. Transfer it down onto your paper. Make sure you transfer your hashtags and your little knockout piece. Cut that out. Now I did it on kind of a bit of cardboard so it's a little stiffer. That is now your template. You're then going to take this. I used, as you can see, it's nice funky colored green and blue in there. I used some kids foam I got from the dollar store. These are about 12 by 12 inch kids play mat things, but you can see it's about a 1/4 inch thick. Textured on one side, smooth on the other. If you like the texture, then go for it. If not, just be careful and make sure your texture's on the inside. You just simply put this on top of your foam and then pin your template down. Use your Sharpie, mark it out. Once you've marked out your piece, X-Acto blade, make sure that you're cutting straight down, not on an angle, because it'll make it hard when you rejoin your seams. As you can see on here, I have a left side and I have a right side. So on the foam, after you've cut this out, make sure that you mark an R on it. So you know you've done the right side, then you've done the left. Because it will make a difference if you cut 2 rights. Once you've got your foam cut out, you should end up with 4 pieces. You're going to have 2 of these and 2 of these. What I do is I take the 2 parts of this and I join them. Now, for the glue, I use contact cement. With the contact cement, it's a glue that you have to put on, and it takes a little while for it to set itself up before you can attach the pieces. So you kind of wait till it gets not quite tacky, and then you can bond it. So you need to kind of start at the edges as you're joining your foam, and you want to make sure that these little hashtags line up. Be careful not to stretch your foam, or what you're going to end up with is one piece longer than the other and your hashtags won't match up. Make sure as you're going along that the piece you're joining to, that the hashtags line up, or you're going to have big problems. Once you've got this piece bonded, so you're going to have this part of the helmet made as one piece. Then you're simply going to take your other piece of foam and attach it, making sure that your inner hashtags will line up to your helmet. Okay? Hope that's clear enough. These 2 pieces get joined, which will give you the center cap piece. Then you're simply going to attach your side helmet pieces. Now, what I do first is this seam here. Make sure you glue it up well. And as soon as you bring those edges in, you can see how you've got that shape back. So it was flat. As soon as you bring those edges in, you get that rounded cut back in. So I glue that in first, then I glue this into place. Rinse, repeat on the other side. That's your basic helmet made. You can see my seam lines inside. Try and get your seams as neat and tidy as possible. I kind of cheated a bit on mine. I mean, my seams were pretty good, but I used extra pieces of foam to add not only detailing to the helmet, but it hid my seams. So after I had the basic helmet made, I spray painted it and then added some additional foam pieces. And as I had said in previous videos, you can get foam at all kinds of thicknesses, from really super thin like I used here to quite a bit thicker foam. These bits here, they were just like a lace stuff I got from Fabricland. And then these were earrings. I just cut the back piece off, and that part's all hot glued on. The gems hot glued on. Now out Fabricland, they have absolute bags and bags and bags of different gems and jewels and all kinds of clips. And these were anywhere from 10 cents to like 50 cents a bag. And there's a whole ton of them in there. And I just simply hot glued them on. I like these little ones because they kind of give that rivet effect. Once you've got your helmet painted, now for paint, I use spray paint. I also used a acrylic paint with the black and watered it down to kind of give it a washed effect, especially making it a bit blacker in here. It gives it a bit more of a steel look, a bit more of an aged look. But you can use acrylic paints, you can use spray paints, whatever you like. So I think it looks pretty good. Now, to make sure I don't have any extra shine and to help protect it a bit more, I use Krylon's matte finish spray. It knocks out any shine, or not totally out, but it definitely reduces it. And it puts a protective layer on it to help keep the paint a little more intact, because kind of through wear and tear and everything else, it'll get dinged a bit. Now, all this armor stuff that I've been doing, this is about 2 or 3 years old. But I think I look pretty dashing in my helmet. If you're got any questions, having any problems or difficulties doing this, please leave some comments down below. I'll see what I can do to help you. That's basically it. The big thing with this is making sure that when you're doing the tin foil and the duct tape, that you've got the cutouts where you want them, and that you're putting those hashtag lines in. Those are really important to line these pieces back up. So, with all that being said, until the next time.